Defense Headquarters reaffirms commitment to the welfare of personnel exiting the armed forces. Fears mount of mass killings in Sudanese city of el-Fasher after military group captured it from government forces. Thank you for staying with us here on Third Eye Africa TV. I am Juliet Onra. Here's the news in detail. The Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badar Abubakar, on Tuesday received the newly appointed Chief of Defense Staff and the service chiefs. A statement by media aide to the Minister, Mati Ali, said he received them during their maiden courtesy visit to his office at the Ministry of Defense in Abuja. He said the visit underscored the Minister's commitment to building a cohesive defense leadership anchored on trust, collaboration, and shared purpose. The Defense Headquarters has reaffirmed its commitment to the welfare of personnel exiting the armed forces, saying it is prioritizing life after service through structured transition and rehabilitation programs. The Director of Support Services Defense Headquarters, Major General Olatukumbo Bello, made this known at the closing of a two-day pre-retirement transition readiness workshop for senior officers in Abuja. Bello said the program was designed to equip soon-to-be retired officers with practical skills, psychological readiness, and legal awareness for life after active duty. He said it is important to prepare them with skills, advice, and psychological readiness that will follow them into retirement. Bello added that the workshop was structured to be interactive to enable officers to share experiences and provide feedback that would help the Defense Headquarters strengthen future transition initiatives. Delivering a lecture on legal affairs, will writing, and retirement rights, Justice Godwin Bunike of the Federal Capital Territory High Court urged personnel to take legal preparedness seriously. He noted that retirement planning goes beyond finance to include family, legal, and emotional stability. He described legal preparedness as the process of ensuring that one's affairs, including wills, power of attorney, and pension documentation, are in proper legal order before or upon retirement. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has reaffirmed that promotions within the Nigerian police force are strictly merit-based, transparent, and devoid of favoritism, nepotism, or tribal bias. He stated this during the decoration ceremony of newly promoted senior officers held at the Goodluck Ebele Jonathan Peacekeeping Hall, Force Headquarters, Abuja. Correspondent Irene Okechukwu now reports.
Today, we celebrate not just advancement in rank, but the affirmation of excellence, character, and distinguished service within the Nigerian police force. We mark not just promotion, but the reaffirmation of competence, trust, and integrity. This ceremony embodies the strength of our institution, the fairness of our processes, and the courage of those who have served faithfully through the years. To our newly elevated officers, I extend my heartfelt congratulations. Your elevation is a product of dedication, consistency, and unwavering commitment to the values of discipline, integrity, and patriotism. Recent months have witnessed attempts by certain mischief makers to cast shadows on the credibility of our promotion process, particularly the accelerated promotion exercise conducted a few months ago. But truth stands taller than rumors. The Nigerian police force has nothing to hide and nothing to defend. Every promotion exercise conducted under this administration, including the accelerated promotion exercise, has followed due process, transparent, merit-based, and in strict conformity with established standards. There is no promotion scandal in the Nigerian police force. What we have is a system that rewards diligence, professionalism, and proven capacity.
Moving on, and still in police in Bauchi State, the Bauchi State Police Command has arrested 2 suspected armed robbers as part of its continuous effort to combat crime and criminality in the state. This was contained in a statement issued by the command's public relations officer, Ahmed Wakil, who said the arrest followed a report received by operatives attached to the C Division police headquarters in Bauchi State. Wakil said the two suspects were responsible for a series of house-breaking and robbery incidents within the Bauchi metropolis. He said during interrogation, the suspect confessed to the crime and mentioned one Abubakar Saleh of Doya area Bauchi as his accomplice. Saleh was subsequently arrested and also confessed to his involvement in the robbery operation. He listed exhibits recovered from the suspect to include one Jincheng motorcycle, 2 knives, and one Redmi GSM phone. The police public relations officer said the case would be transferred to the State Criminal Investigation Department, Bauchi, for discreet investigation and possible prosecution. Over to the House of Reps, Chairman House of Representatives Committee on Internal Security, Garba Muhammad, says the National Assembly has received threat from terrorists to bomb the complex. Garba made the disclosure at a public hearing on a bill seeking to establish the Legislative Security Directorate, which seeks to enhance security management, protect lawmakers, staff members, and visitors to the nation's parliament. According to him, the complex has been facing security challenges, including cases of cars and motorcycle theft, vandalism, fake identity cards, and infiltrations by unregistered visitors. The lawmaker therefore called for urgent fortification of the complex as a proactive measure. A suspected member of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, and its armed wing, the Eastern Security Network, ESN, was shot dead during a gun duel with local vigilantes in Ezifite community, Newi South local government area of Anambra State. Security sources said that the incident occurred when about 15 armed men stormed the community from neighboring Imo State through the Amalum village boundary. Members of the Agune Chamber vigilante group said the gunmen were suspected to be on a mission to attack the community before they were intercepted and engaged in a fierce exchange of gunfire. During the shootout, one of the attackers was neutralized while others escaped into nearby bushes with gunshot wounds. A pump-action rifle was recovered from the deceased suspect, whose body was later taken to the Ezifite mortuary. Police tactical teams were deployed to the scene, but the gunmen had fled before their arrival. The area has since been cordoned off as joint security forces and local vigilantes continue bush-combing operations to track down the fleeing assailant. Security sources commended the vigilance group for their swift response and urged residents to remain calm while cooperating with security agencies to ensure lasting peace in the area. And now over to Akwa Ibom State. Akwa Ibom State Police Command says it has successfully dismantled an illegal firearms fabrication factory in Itam Itu local government area of the state. It added that operatives arrested 2 suspects involved in fabrication of local guns that are being allegedly supplied to robbers and cultists. The command spokesperson, Timfon John, was who disclosed this in a statement. And Uyo said the arrest was made following a targeted intelligence-led operation. She said those arrested during the operation include Anyekan Anyede, believed to be a primary suspect, and the second individual, Ubong Udofia, considered as an accomplice in the illegal enterprise. John said a comprehensive search of illicit factory led to the recovery of cache of weapons, tools, and materials used in the manufacturing process. She listed the recovered items to include 3 fabricated locally made guns, 5 pieces of metal pipes, 2 iron rods, assorted copper wires, 2 flat metals designed for fabricated gun bolts. She said the tools and machineries central to the illegal production line yielding machine, mini electric screwdrivers, electric filing machines were also seized as evidence. The PPRO further said investigation had begun to uncover the full extent of the suspect's network, identify their client, and get possible links of their operations to other criminal activities. Meanwhile, she said the State Police Commissioner Baba Muhammad Azari has commended the operatives for their swift and effective actions. And now let's take a story from the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. The NDLEA has warned nightclub operators and fund seekers against the growing trend of organizing and attending drug parties, describing the practice as a criminal act punishable under Nigerian law. The warning followed a weekend raid on a drug party held at Proxy Night Club in Lagos, where operatives of the agency arrested over 100 attendees, including the club owner, Mike Wogu, popularly known as Pretty Mike, and his manager, Joachim Milari. The NDLEA has said that on Sunday, the operation was carried out after intelligence revealed that organizers had circulated flyers inviting people to what they called a drug party. Baba Femi warned against organizing drug parties, stressing that such activities are illegal. He said any gathering organized for the purpose of consuming, distributing, or abusing illicit substance is an act of criminality. He further noted that these drug parties contravene the explicit provisions of the NDLEA Act and will be treated as a serious narcotic offense. The NDLEA spokesperson added that the agency would intensify surveillance and enforce the full weight of the law against anyone involved in such criminal act, warning that property owners who knowingly allow their facility to be used for drug-related activities risk forfeiting them to the government. Let's join Kenan now on business news.
To know you're still there, you're still watching Third Eye Africa Television. I am Kenachiko Ojuyenim, and this is Business Brief. We begin from the Nigerian Port Authority saying 16 ships loaded with petroleum products, food items, and other goods are expected to arrive at Apapa and Tinkan Island ports in Lagos. The NPA, in its daily shipping position on Tuesday, said that 6 of the expected ships contained crude oil. 5 ships were laden with aviation fuel, while the remaining 5 contained gasoline, diesel, gas oil, and containers of different products. Report shows that the documents noted that 2 ships had arrived at the ports, waiting to berth with general cargo and bulk. Reporters on ground said that 19 ships are at the ports discharging general cargoes, bulk wheat, bulk gypsum, containers, and petrol. Last week, the federal government approved a $1 billion modernization project for the Lagos ports just as it commenced the procurement process for the modernizations of other seaports outside Lagos. Minister of the Marine and Blue Economy Adeboyega Oyetola, represented by the Managing Director of the Nigerian Ports Authority Abubakar Dansoho, said the ongoing port modernization drive is aimed at upgrading infrastructure, improving cargo handling efficiency, and expanding capacity to meet global standards. Also, in another development, the 16th Emir of Kano and former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Muhammadu Sanusi II, has questioned the federal government's continued borrowing despite the removal of petrol subsidy by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. Sanusi, who was speaking in Abuja at the Oxford Global Think Tank Leadership Conference and book launch, noted that the removal of fuel subsidy should have significantly boosted government revenues. Sanusi, however, commended the Tinubu's administration for scrapping the subsidy and unifying exchange rates, describing both decisions as painful but necessary measures for economic stability. However, he cautioned that the ongoing reforms would yield little benefits unless they were accompanied by fiscal discipline and transparent public spending. The former CBN governor, who held office from 2009 to 2014, further observed that Nigeria's current economic challenges were rooted in years of policy inconsistency and populist decision-making. And the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, has revealed that Nigerians spent approximately 15 trillion naira on diesel and fuel to run generators over the past year due to unreliable public power supply. Speaking at the Nigerian Energy Summit organized by the Informal Markets in Lagos, Adelabu noted that the narrative is beginning to change under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's reforms, with improved electricity provision now being recorded. Corroborating Adelabu's claim, the National Bureau of Statistics reported that petrol import costs rose by 105.3% from 7.51 trillion in 2023 to 15.42 trillion in 2024. The minister appealed to private investors to increase investment in power sector, acknowledging that the federal government alone cannot fund the scale of investment needed to deliver efficient and reliable power. Adelabu announced a major policy requiring electricity contribution companies to meet a minimum capital adequacy requirements to qualify for license renewal. He explained that the sector faces challenges of undercapitalization and a severe debt burden, which the new requirement aims to address, strengthening the financial health and liquidity of utilities. Since taking office in 2023, Adelabu has spearheaded a multi-pronged reform agenda covering legislation, policy reforms, infrastructure development, energy transition, and local content development. These measures aim to unlock private capital, enhance service delivery, and ensure sector sustainability. And that's it on Business Brief. Let's now join Hawa, who has updates on what's trending globally.
Thank you, Kene, and welcome viewers. This is Global Update. I am Hawa Umar. Let's begin. Fears are mounting of mass killings in the key Sudanese city of el-Fasher after the paramilitary rapid support forces captured it from government forces. In an address, Sudan's military chief General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan said he had approved the withdrawal of troops in response to the systematic destruction and killing of civilians. The UN said there were credible reports of summary executions, while Yale University's Humanitarian Research Lab referred to satellite imagery of piles of bodies executed en masse. The RSF has denied executions of killing civilians and targeting non-Arab ethnic groups, despite evidence presented by the UN and human rights organizations. The fall of el-Fasher in the Darfur region could mark a significant turning point in Sudan's civil war, which has killed tens of thousands and displaced nearly 12 million people since April 2023. RSF fighters had been besieging el-Fasher for 18 months, trapping hundreds of thousands of civilians in the city and sparking a hunger crisis. Meanwhile, residents who managed to flee el-Fasher told newsmen they are fearful and distressed after losing contact with relatives still stuck in the city. On Tuesday, the European Union said it wanted all warring parties to de-escalate the conflict, while the African Union condemned alleged war crimes and ethnically targeted killings of civilians. After confirming the army had withdrawn from el-Fasher, Sudanese military chief General Burhan denounced inaction by the international community to end the RSF atrocities and vowed to fight until the land is purified. Also, the US President J.D. Vance has said that the ceasefire in Gaza is still holding, despite confrontations after Israel launched airstrikes and accused Hamas of attacking its troops. Gaza's Civil Defense Agency said at least 9 people were killed in strikes targeting several parts of the Palestinian territory. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had early ordered powerful strikes on Gaza. Vance was one of several top US officials to rush to Israel last week to show up the fragile truce between Israel and Hamas that President Donald Trump brokered earlier this month. That's all we have trending globally. Over to you, Juliet.
Thank you for staying with us here on Third Eye Africa TV. I am Juliet Onwura. Keep watching Third Eye Africa TV. Till next time, stay safe.